All right.
Hi, it's me, the guy who thought wearing a blazer over a turtleneck was a great idea. Now, I know this has been a while since I've uploaded a video, and technically this is not an intro to this video because as you can see, the frame is paused right now. Well, it took me a while to edit this because I was very busy. I recently started a job, and so that's why this took a while. But this was recorded before the new year, so bear with me on this, and I hope you enjoy the video. Welcome to the channel, guys, and this is the Poor Man's Game Awards. Don't worry, this time it's just going to be awards given to games and, other companies and stuff. There aren't going to be any celebrities in here. Well, technically I've been on TV for like 10 seconds, so I don't know if that counts. And I also done some radio stuff. So yeah, no celebrities. So just me. And I definitely didn't wear that button to cover up my large belly. So ignoring that part, let's get on with the actual video now. So before I get started with the first category though, I would like to bring your attention towards a very important problem that we have been facing. People have stopped subscribing. Now that could be because I haven't put out content in the last 2 months, but I tend to believe otherwise. But anyway, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff. Let's go after that. Now, if you guys remember from the last time, we had a few categories. This time we'll have more. So stay tuned, then watch the whole video and you will see what we have added more. Or rather what I have added more. There is no we, I am just alone. Anyway, let's get started with the first category. So the first category is the games that I definitely did not buy and play. And the award for this category goes to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So I definitely did not buy it. I definitely did not play it. I definitely did not, the E word it. So yeah, I definitely did not just try out Yuzu and put it on my PC and then stream that on my PS Vita. Definitely didn't make a video of it. So yeah, none of that happened. But if I would have played the game, I would have said that this is one of the best games that I have ever played. Like, not just in terms of story, I didn't feel like it did much for me. It's just the amount of freedom you get to just do random shit in the game. I love that. I'm not a very creative person by nature, which is kind of a problem when you are making YouTube videos, but anyway. But yeah, that's one I loved. But there is a runners-up for this, and that award goes to The Last of Us. Now, that was available on PC, but why didn't I then buy and play it? Well, hypothetically, if I did buy it, I would have faced some really bad performance issues, which wouldn't get fixed like the 7th or 8th patch. And even when it is fixed, it's not really the best performance anyway. So, and also Sony is charging a ridiculous amount now because regional pricing be damned. So yeah, I definitely didn't buy and play it. But if I did buy it, I would say that it is a good game. The shooting mechanics generally are good. Again, hypothetically. So yeah. Now moving on from that category, we move on to the best horror game. So this is the game that essentially just horrifies you the most. And this year we have had some excellent kind of scary games. Now I wouldn't really say Alan Wake 2 is... Oops, did I just give it away? But don't worry about it, let's just talk about Alan Wake 2. So Alan Wake 2, yeah, it was scary, but it wasn't really a horror game. But anyway, the winner of this category goes to EAFC 24. What the hell is that? You may ask. And your question would be very valid. So what that is FIFA, except they don't need the license of FIFA anymore. They dropped that. And it still sold a shit ton. There was no effect on sales. It is still going strong, still earning money. And that is very scary. Because as a football fan myself, I occasionally play football. Like, I can't play on the pitch anymore because no one around me plays football. So I play on my PC. The problem is, the game is so shit. There is no other word I can use for it. The game is so shit that it just sucks away any fun that I might have with the game. And especially because I don't play online, I play career mode because I want to pick a club and, you know, build that club up. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. Except EA just isn't interested in that at all. They barely improve anything. If anything, they make it worse year upon year. And I don't like the stuff that they actually do because all their effort actually goes into Ultimate Team. The gameplay is substandard at best, but we don't have any other options because Konami fucked up PES. And now the only football game available is FIFA. Or rather, not FIFA. Now it's EAFC 24. So yeah, really scary times. Now, of course, the third award is for the best company at sucking. Well, you know, this year, some companies have done some really good stuff. Like CDPR really turned it around after their horrific launch of Cyberpunk. Sony is decent other than, you know, them being greedy, but then again, they are not the only company who are greedy. I mean, EA exists, guys. Then there was Ubisoft, who basically, well, they released Assassin's Creed Mirage, we'll talk about that. But they also released Frontiers of Pandora, which honestly I haven't played, so I can't talk about that. Now, among all of that, I would say the worst company is still Activision. And I checked in my last video, it was Activision even then. Now, Activision got acquired by Microsoft, but their CEO still stayed on this year, and it is now that he has left the company. We'll see what happens with Activision later on, but this year they have by far and away been the worst company, at least for me. The Call of Duty campaign essentially charging $70 for a glorified DLC, which wasn't even a good DLC, by the way. Like, it wasn't a good DLC. This could have been an update for Modern Warfare 2. But they charged $70 for it. So yeah, that's Activision for you. So I hate that, and so that's why they're here. Now the next category is the game I can play for hours. And honestly, is there a debate here? Is there any debate as to what game will come into this category? It's Baldur's Gate 3. Like, obviously it is Baldur's Gate 3. There is no other game that has the amount of content and the amount of longevity. Is it longevity? I don't know. Basically, like, it is never over. I haven't even, like, I've gone to the third act once and I still haven't completed it. I just made a new character, started over again. So it is basically becoming my new Skyrim. So if you guys don't know, I actually did not finish Skyrim for like the first 8 years. I finished Skyrim the first time in 2019. And so this is quickly becoming the new Skyrim, where I just start a new character, play through the first and the second act, and then I'm like, nah, I want to start a new character now. So I go back, start a new character, play a different build or something. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with Baldur's Gate 3. So fantastic game, amazing game. Really, it is not even a game for me. Like, I'm not the person who is that much into isometric, like, you know, turn-based strategy games. Can we call it a turn-based? It is a turn-based strategy game. I'm not that much into it. But this year, I have been playing a lot of turn-based strategy games, and you will see that later on the list as well. And honestly, maybe that's why I sort of latched on to Baldur's Gate 3 as I did. So yeah, really love the game. Now the next category is the best game that I did not play. And the nominees for that would be anything that just came out on PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch and not on PC. Now technically anything that came on Nintendo Switch is also on PC. I'm not going to say how, because I do not want Nintendo's lawyers suing me into oblivion, because I already don't have any money. So I'm just going to focus on the PS5 games. So the PS5 games that didn't make it to PC this year were, of course, Spiderman 2 and Final Fantasy 16. Now, I actually have played these games. It's not like I haven't. I went to Delhi for a small vacation there. My friend has a PS5. He had both games, so I tried out both games. I basically played the ending of Spider-Man 2, so I know the story now. And that is not the best game that I didn't play. The best game that I didn't play is Final Fantasy 16. I am really looking forward to that coming out on PC. Now, it's probably not going to be a good PC port, judging by the previous Final Fantasy releases, But hey, a man can hope. And if it is the case that if the case is that I can't play the game properly on my PC, I might just buy a console. So look forward to that next year. So the next category is, holy shit, this is way better than I thought it would be. And that is Hi-Fi Rush. Now, a lot of people didn't know this game even came out, because for most people, Bethesda kind of just shadow dropped it out of nowhere. It is a fantastic game, and most people don't even know that the game exists. Like, yeah, on the internet, on Twitter, people are talking about it, especially like the console war fanatics, but I'm not counting those as human beings, because they aren't, they are idiots. Idiotic human beings? But idiotic human beings would still be human beings. I guess they are human beings, but they are just stupid. So anyway, moving past that. So yeah, Hi-Fi Rush was a game that came out. It was a platformer. It was a platformer, proper, rhythm combat based game. And I love rhythm combat based game. Like a Metal Hellsinger, then what was that? Guns? No. Bullets per minute. Yeah, Bullets per minute, Metal Hellsinger, both made it to my lists, like in their respective years. And so there was no way in hell this wasn't. So yeah, this was really, really good. This was a very well made game. This is a very lightweight game. Like everyone can play it. Like you don't need a beefy PC to play it. Like it can even run like on your handhelds very, very well. So yeah, this is a really well made game. It's a really good game. And honestly, good job Bethesda, because that is the only good job they did. Okay. Starfield wasn't bad, but we'll get to that right now actually. So the next award is the Me of the Year. So this essentially is the game that resonates with me the most. Now there are two meanings to this. A, that, this is something that I actually liked, I actually wanted. And also, this is me, as in the way I am. And so Starfield is both of those things. A, I always wanted a proper space RPG. Like, yeah, Mass Effect was a thing. And it did scratch that itch. But I've been, having that itch for a long time again. No Man's Sky didn't quite get that for me. And Starfield did. Now, Starfield has a lot of shortcomings, but it did what I wanted it to do, and so I love it. But talking about the shortcomings, that's where it becomes me. The guy with promise, but under-delivering and everything. That's what Starfield is. So it is the Me of the Year. And the next category is the category where the devs are absolute gigachads. And that award goes to Ubisoft Bordeaux. Now, I know there have been a lot of great devs, especially this year, especially considering I just talked about Baldur's Gate 3. Larian Studios deserve the world and more. But why am I talking about Ubisoft Bordeaux? Well, if you have been on the channel for a while, you know that I didn't quite like the direction the modern Assassin's Creed games went in. And that statement in itself is a massive understatement. Well, Ubisoft Bordeaux comes around and they are like, oh, we are going to make a game that is going back to the roots. And I laughed my ass off because they were basing that game on Valhalla. There is no way in hell that they can go back to the roots when the game is so far away from the roots. The game they are actually coming out of is so far away from the roots. But somehow they did. And they did not stop. Even after the game was out. Like originally there was no plan for an update or anything like that. But they didn't stop, did they? They just went like, nope, we are going to do more. Because there was a mod, like shortly after Mirage came out, there was a mod essentially which allowed you to sort of side eject or back eject. The side eject or back eject became better. Not perfect, not even what I would say good, but better than what we had. And in fact, I would say better than any of the RPG trilogy. And in some instances, even better than Unity. So what do the devs do? They take that, they look at that, they make it an actual feature in the game. They implemented that in this short time frame. And if you are someone who is familiar with development, things are not always that easy. Just because a modder can do it doesn't mean you can just include that in the official build. There's a lot of things that you need to do, including going through QA. Because if if you even consider the mod that came out, which I have even used it to put some parkour videos for Mirage. There are problems with it because it will detect a random edge somewhere and just snap to it, even though it doesn't make any sense. So they had to work on these things, and they have minimized the downsides of the mod while also sort of including and improving the good things that the mod did. And they did it as an official thing in a patch 1 month, 2 months after release. So absolute Giga Chats Ubisoft Bordeaux. I cannot wait to see what they do next. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Absolutely wonderful work from them. The story was a bit the story could have been better. I wanted to actually know the transition that Basim went through, but the transition happened very quickly. The entire story was actually before that. So that was my only disappointment of Mirage, because pretty much everything else, parkour was a disappointment, but the amount of effort that they put in to, and remember, this game is made from the bones of Valhalla. If you have played Valhalla, you know what I'm talking about. The sheer amount of effort and dedication that they have shown in making this game makes me want to trust them, which I haven't said for a Ubisoft studio in a while now. So yeah, great job Ubisoft Bordeaux, and very deserving of this award. So the next one is a game that everyone should just go play right now. And that award goes to Octopath Traveler 2. I have not seen anyone talk about this. Why is no one talking about Octopath Traveler 2? It is an excellent game which at least everyone should try. At the very least, you guys should try it. Yes, it is a turn-based like RPG, but it is a really, really good one. There are 8 different storylines, branching storylines. So go play that game. It is an excellent game, and if you love like the old school RPGs, like the turn-based RPGs in any way, you will love this. So go play those. And the art style, wow! Like, I'm not even going to talk. Just go play it. After this video, go play it. Go buy it. Go play it. That is my recommendation. Now for the next category, it is the game that made you a child again, and that for me goes to Hogwarts Legacy. There was no other game really competing in this category. In fact, I may or may not have made up the entire category to give this game an award. Because, my word, this game this is what I wanted ever since I was about this high. Actually, not even this high. Probably lower, but you can't see that in the camera. So, I've been wanting this ever since I was a little kid. And I got it. I got exactly what I want. I cannot describe in words how I feel about the game. Is it perfect? No, it isn't. It is not perfect. It is nowhere close to being perfect. But the spell casting in the game is probably one of the best spell casting systems I've seen in any game. Just period. And the way the combat works and the way it flows, the way the world immerses you in it. Everything that this studio did, they did really well, and they were up for that award with Ubisoft Bordeaux because they did a stellar job with this, especially considering this is their first major title. They hit it out of the park, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. Maybe they won't do another Hogwarts game because, I mean, you tend not to do these things when you get abused for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. Yeah, J.K. Rowling said some stuff. That's on J.K. Rowling, not these developers. They are simply realizing their own dream. Hell, I would make a game on Harry Potter, and I don't agree with J.K. Rowling at all. So yeah, this game transported me right back to my childhood, and I loved it for it. Don't love the author anymore. She can take a hike for all I care, but really love the franchise, even though there are some massive plot holes in it. And also I really love the game itself. Like, it's a really well made game, even though the story was kind of meh. Anyway, moving on from that. So now the next category is a category that is very dear to my heart. And it is a category about the game that hated us the most. And when I say us, I mean the PC players. Now there are, as usual, a lot of nominees in this. Jedi Survivor was one, The Last of Us was one, Redfall, then Starfield. Basically, there are very few games that actually did work properly on PC, including Baldur's Gate 3, by the way, because the Act 3 was a mess early on. They did fix it later on. That's besides the point though. So then who is the winner among all these? The winner is Jedi Survivor, because To this day, it is still broken. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, I don't really notice it. That's good for you. If you can look past the issues that this game has, that is good for you. In fact, when I played it, I sort of just rushed through those. I ignored the issues, but the issues were there. And for me, they are very severe. I'm someone who is very susceptible to things like frame rate fluctuation, to stutters. And so if something like that happens, I instantly can see it. Oh, I did. Yeah, that. I can instantly notice it. And it just takes me out of the game every time that happens. And Jedi Survivor is one of the most unstable games that is out on PC right now. But the reason why it got the award is not that. I know I said in the category that hated us, the PC players, the most. But Jedi Survivor has issues in pretty much every single version. Like even the console versions are buggy. Like buggy as in these issues that I'm talking about, some of these issues are also present in the console version. And some of these issues are actually continuing from the first entry, from Jedi Fallen Order. Like Jedi Fallen Order had these same issues. So to see them actually not improve these things at all is a very disappointing thing, because the game itself is fantastic. It is one of the best games that I've played this year. So to see the PC port being so bad, to see the game being held back so much, it really pains me. And so that's why this is here. Now the next one, of course, is the best platform to game on. Now, as you guys might know, I now have a PS Vita. I recently bought a PSP, as an old PSP as well. I have my PC. So the award for the best platform to play on, it goes to this. Now, oh, wait, my finger is in between. So this. Now what the hell is this? This is what is called a Miyoo Mini Plus. I originally wanted the Miyoo Mini, but you can't ever find it. I was looking to that Emblem device, but I didn't buy it. I bought this instead. And I'm really, really happy with it. Now all it can do is essentially play everything up to the PS1. Now some PS1 games also run in this just fine, and with the latest Onion OS software, even DS games are now working on it. But I've only played like Game Boy Advance, NES, SNES, those games on here. And one of the games that I've played on here is also one that will receive an award later on, so foreshadowing. And this is just such a wonderful device. Now, it isn't without its problems. The speaker could really have been better. The speaker actually sucks. Now, it is good enough for what it is, what the device is. It's a really cheap device. It's not that expensive. And considering the build quality and the kind of gameplay experiences that I have had from this, I would not trade this device for anything else. Maybe the recently released like the RG353XX Plus from Ambonic, because that is just this slightly bigger and a lot better than this. So maybe that, but again, I don't see myself ditching this device ever. Because unless the battery somehow becomes worse over time, which it hasn't so far, it's been almost a year now. So yeah, this device has served me really well. And nowadays I don't even take anything else with me. Like when I'm going back to Mumbai to my parents, or even like when I went on a trip somewhere, like to Delhi, I took my laptop because I might have gotten some work, but mostly I just played on this because this is fantastic. And I really, really love this. So Miyoo Mini Plus again gets my recommendation. If you want to buy it, definitely you can go ahead and buy it. For the systems that it works really well. And yes, the RG353XX Plus, I think that is the model name. That one is technically better than this, but it's also bigger than this. It will still come into the same. So I use my old hard drive case to fit this in. It works just fine. I put a little bit of a, so if you see this, so I put a little bit of a, what do you put this? Like thermocol or something? So I can just slide it in and it works just fine. But the RG35XS will also fit into this. So this is a device that I would absolutely recommend to people because you can just play on the go. Like, yeah, you can do these things on your phone as well. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not the same experience. Having a physical D-pad, having physical buttons is something you will absolutely love, which is something you obviously can't get on your phone. So yeah, really love this device. Awesome device, really recommend it. And it is really cheap, like considering the kind of device that it is. Now the next game is that I don't actually have any words to describe this masterpiece. And the award for that goes to Alan Wake 2. And I really don't have words for it. Like, when it was about to come out, I was pissed because, you know, the performance targets that it was setting, it seemed like a really like unoptimized game. Except I should have known better, because this is Remedy we are talking about, and they love to push the boundaries of whatever console or whatever system they are putting their games out on. Control did the exact same thing. Even on the lowest settings, Control looks phenomenal. And that is the same case with Alan Wake 2. Because it said that, oh, you can only run low on your PC, except the low in this game is probably better than the high settings of most games. So yeah, this is an absolutely phenomenal looking game. The plot line, the way the characters interact, everything, I can't describe this game. This is a game that if you still haven't played, go play it. Like, I don't even care if you don't finish the video anymore. Go play this game, because this is a game that you absolutely should play. This is one of the best games that I have ever played. This is, though, not my game of the year. The reason being, I needed a bit more from it. Like, I love the concept, I love everything. It is a masterpiece, and it is the game of the year for many people, just not for me. And, well, I'll get to the game of the year later on, and it might surprise a few people and it might piss a few people off, but hey, it is my game of the year, so you know, suck it. Anyway, moving on to the next category. Now that award goes to a game that did not come out in 2023, and that award goes to, and I will tell you the moment this switch is on, this. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can see it. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause the music because again, I don't want Nintendo's lawyers on my ass. So this is Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance. Now, I do believe this has an actual full name, but I don't remember it. I only know it as Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance. Now I'm playing Sacred Stones now, so I am loving that as well. But this is a game that I actually finished this year and I loved it. This is one of, again, the best games that I've ever played and highly recommended. This is one of the reasons why I love this device so much, because this is what I've been doing. I've been playing like Final Fantasy 6, the Fire Emblem, then some Mario games, just stuff like that. And I've been having a really good time with that. And I don't even need to sit in front of a PC all the time. So yeah, really good device, and the game that I played is even better. So now to the award that you guys have all been waiting for. Actually, I don't know if you guys are all waiting for this because I don't know if anyone is watching till this point. But hey, I'm gonna say it anyway. It is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know I told you this was going to be a little bit different. I don't think anyone gave it their game of the year, but I am. Because that game just hits everything for me. Now, I am a Star Wars fan. And like I didn't become a Star Wars fan until very recently. And that happened because my dad put me onto it. And when I say recently, I mean when I was a kid, I started watching those, but I started watching the whole, like every single movie, all the TV shows very recently. And so my dad is the one who actually put me into Star Wars, and I love it. That's one of my connections with my dad. And this game just really hits me where I love it the most. The lightsaber is excellent. The lightsaber combat is excellent. Cal is a really good character. And even when you see him struggling with the dark side, like you can understand the things that he's going through, the reason why he is being seduced to the dark side. He didn't go over to the dark side, by the way. He just used it for a brief amount of time. So anyway, it's spoilers for Jedi Survivor, but the game is already out, so who cares? So yeah, the game is really, really good. The story was good. The acting was excellent. There was no actor in the game who I felt like didn't do their job properly. Like the acting was phenomenal. And the music, everything about this game is just fine. But the best thing about it is the traversal. Because, as you know, I am an old school Assassin's Creed fan, and we haven't been getting that parkour for a while now. Like parkour, even in the games that, even in Mirage, where they really did try, it never really gets that close to the older games. It is still very much like, oh, it's something you use to go from point A to point B. The expression is now gone. But in Jedi Survivor, it is very much a tool to get you from point A to point B, but it also requires you to actually pay attention and actually be good at it. So if you are good at it, if you can sort of get those chains running together, you can get the moves properly chained, you can create some really good sequences in traversal. And I really love that. There is a little bit of expression along with utility, and it really shows why traversal is a really important part of video games. And honestly, ever since the era of Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Witcher 3, we have been missing that in video games because everyone wants to go that route. Everyone wants to make a Red Dead Redemption 2. Everyone wants to make a Witcher 3, especially Ubisoft. But what they are missing is that those are not the only ways you can handle traversal in your games. Jedi Survivor hopefully showed some of the developers that there is another way. Hopefully they reminded Ubisoft that, hey, you used to do this, remember? You used to do this in an open world. It was fantastic. Please do it again. I know they won't, especially with Red being an RPG made by Ubisoft Quebec. I don't expect anything from them, but maybe Bordeaux will. That's why I'm actually excited, because Bordeaux did this from Valhalla. Imagine what they can do if they can just build a game from the ground up. So yeah, Jedi Survivor, I loved it for the game that it is. I loved it for what it made me feel. I loved it for the sheer scale of the game. And yeah, everything about this game is good, and there is a third part coming, and I cannot be more excited for it. So well, that brings about the end of the video. Do let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What other awards would you have given to any other games? Any disagreements, any agreements? Let me know all of that down in the comments below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more, and I will leave you guys in peace.